great turnout. This is, you guys are a breath of fresh air. I just retired from teaching. I was teaching freshman English quite a bit, several years. Angry bunch of kids. They called me stupid, they called me idiot, they called me a bully, a racist, a jerk, and that was all on the first day of school. And then I called the principal and I told him, I go, hey, this is what these kids are calling me. And he says, well, you are, aren't you? I go, yeah, I guess so. Didn't work out too well. So, Paul LeBlanc is here, and he was part of the Vanguard program. I first came to Orange County. I moved to Orange County because I couldn't get a teaching and coaching job in Washington State. And I had a girlfriend that lived down here. And I came down and I was wandering around Huntington Beach, and I found out Marina High School needed a head wrestling coach. So at 26 years old, I took over after Paul LeBlanc had just left Marina High School. And I was young, and I thought I was going to go and do all these great things, and I was idealistic. But I'll tell you, Paul, those kids loved you. They loved you, and I couldn't get anything done, and I'm embarrassed to say, but I resigned and quit. And then the athletic director at Marina said, hey, Santa Ana High School is looking for a wrestling coach. And I go, Santa Ana? I don't like driving through Santa Ana, let alone work at Santa Ana. But I had nothing else on my plate, so I walked in and I shook hands with the athletic director. He said, you're hired. I said, you didn't ask me any questions. He said, nobody else applied for the job. You're hired. Well, guess who's in my league, coaching right down the street at Saddleback High School? Paul LeBlanc. And now I'm sitting right next to him at this. It's just, I don't know what it is, Paul. I don't get it. But great man, he's going to be coming up and speaking to us shortly. And I stepped down as coach in 2018, and I was talking to the new coach, Mario Munoz. And halfway through the season, he said, so far, Glabb, I have 176 things a head coach has to do. I go, what? You got to be kidding. First of all, who writes down everything a head wrestling coach has to do? I'm going, cuckoo, you're weird. Second, if somebody would have told me that, I would have quit. I never would have been a head coach. So, Caleb, I'm going to kind of pass on some things for you. Stories about, things that are going to be a little frustrating for you as a head coach. And some of them are wrestling stories. They're wrestling related, PG-13. One of them is making weight or cutting weight. The worst. This is the worst part of wrestling. When I was in college, I cut so much weight, I didn't have a butt. I had a back and a crack. I had 2 legs and a sphincter. It was, I made Skeletor look sexy. That's how bad it was. And it never fails that we always have a kid on our team that doesn't make weight. We're getting ready to wrestle Ocean View in league finals for our first ever league championship in the history of school. And I had a kid leave the day before, a pound over. He comes back 10 over. And I'm telling you, those conversations do not go well when a kid is overweight. I go, what did you do? Oh, I drank a gallon of milk. Oh. We got him down to 0.3 and he didn't make weight. He lost 9.7 pounds. I had a kid that was ranked 1 in the state all season, 10 pounds over the night of Masters. And the next day would qualify him for state. His name was Hugo Guzman. He showed up 4 over at Santa Ana High School, and we made him run all the way to Fountain Valley. Yeah, all the way. We followed him in the car. You know, we didn't just say, you're on your own. 0.2 over, didn't make weight, 2-time state qualifier, didn't qualify for state. So, yeah, it's frustrating. We were at El Dorado and we had weigh-ins, and after weigh-ins, I would take the kids to eat because we didn't have money to bring our own food. And so I dropped them off at this strip mall, and they all got out of the van and they're running to all these little restaurants. So I decided I'm going to go into Dario's Pizza and I'm going to eat at this pizza place by myself. And I see kids scurry in and out, and I'm not really sure that it's behind me. I load everybody up in the van and we're getting ready to go back to the tournament. And then one of the kids goes, Glabb, this guy's chasing us. He's yelling at you. And I hear this guy go, you ruined my bathroom! And he pounds on my window, and I roll it down and go, what's up? He goes, you guys ruined my bathroom! And I go, oh, okay. And I look back, and I'm in a rage now. Who ruined this bathroom? Who went in there? And these kids are raising their hands. And so I pull them all out of the van. There's 3 of them. And I had this kid named Ernie. And he was videotaping the whole season. He wanted to do some kind of documentary. So he decides to get out. And he's following us in. And I walk in with the owner. And we walk into the restroom. And I don't see anything wrong. It's not trashed. He goes, no, over here. And he points at the stall. And I look in there. And those boys clogged his toilet. They went on top of each other's. I couldn't believe it. It was full up to the rim. I go, what were you guys doing? Who goes on top of somebody else's? Well, I guess we do, coach. What? We had to go. Oh my gosh. So the owner had a scoop and a bucket right there, and he goes, let's go. Start scooping it. And so one of the kids went in and he starts scooping it, and that's when I got dry heaves. I go, oh my gosh. And I'm going over to the corner, and Ernie's going, oh yeah, this is good. This is real good. Yeah. He's videotaping the whole thing, and the kids are taking turns scooping this out into a bucket. And I just say to the guy, you know what, sir? Just, here's my address. Send me the bill. You're going to have to hire somebody. We're not going to be able to get this done for you. We're not professionals. And I went to the tournament. I never got a bill from Dario. So I felt so bad. This event scarred me so bad that the next year I dropped a check off for $100 at Dario's. So I've never been back. I'm probably not going to go back. Skin infections, those are very frustrating too. And when I wrestled in the 80s, nobody had any skin infections. Ringworm was something you got from a farm animal. Now you got the ringworm, the impetigo, you got staph, you got MRSA, gonorrhea, herpes. Wait, those are STDs. Well, wrestlers get those too. So, but you get, kids aren't taking showers anymore. A shower to them is throwing some deodorant on and putting their clothes back on. It's crazy. So I had this kid named Nacho Bahena, phenomenal. If any of you know Vince Silva, this guy came into our program in '93 and he taught us this Oklahoma-style wrestling, and take him down, let him up, take him down, let him up. And this kid, Nacho, was phenomenal at it. I mean, he broke people all season long. We were wrestling against Calvary Chapel in a big duel against one of their best kids on the team. Nacho lost, but they had John Azevedo and his coach had to carry this kid off the mat. And he was so broke, so tired. But the problem is, Nacho had some really nasty, yellow, crusty, oozing pus coming out of his head all the time. Nacho cheese, anyone? Now I see wrestlers' girlfriends with ringworm. I just say, tell them it's a bad hickey. Yeah. Shoot a kid on, Nacho's ringworm was so bad his ringworm had ringworm. That's how bad it was. I had a kid that had a whole ringworm on his back. And UCI School of Dermatology came and used him as a guinea pig for their research. So Vanguard wrestlers, that's you, right? Just do what my English kids used to tell me at the end of every period. Teacher, take a shower, okay? Take a shower, teacher. That's what they yell at me as they ran out. Why? Why are they yelling at me like that, Mario? What's that mean? Take a shower. I did. Oh, another thing. All right, keeping kids' grades up. I don't know how it is in college. I'm sure Vanguard's got a good tutoring program. But have you ever heard of that family called the Incredibles, superheroes? Well, at Santa Ana, we have the Ineligibles. Yeah. A family of super flunkies, right? I mean, kids thought 5 counties was 5 countries. That's what they thought that tournament was. Kids thought a wizard was the wizard. And I remember Wrestling Mart the other day, one of your employees at Wrestling Mart, it's called the wizard? I thought it was the wizard. So some of you coaches are probably going, oh, I got it wrong. All this time I'm telling the kids, throw a wizard in. Right? I had a kid, I'd often go up to kids, I go, hey, how are your grades? Oh, I only got 4 Fs. Oh, only 4 Fs, congratulations. You scholar, you. Yeah, have you ever heard the term 5th year senior? Get used to it, because that's going to be you. In high school, my assistant coach, his blood alcohol level was higher than his GPA. That's how bad it was. So, and we had a state champ a few years ago named Joey Daniel. He came up to me and goes, Glabb, how many states are there in California? Oh my God, all of them? All of them, Joey. This is the kid, he was out at his grandma's ranch in Riverside walking around and he got bit by a rattlesnake. And he runs a quarter of a mile uphill to his grandma's house to get help. I always knew when I was a kid, if I got bit by a rattlesnake, I'm not running, I'm walking very slow. He runs, the ambulance picks him up, the ambulance stalls at a stoplight on the way there, right? He's freaking out, gets to the hospital, gets his anti-venom, gets back home at midnight. He goes back out looking for the rattlesnake to kill it at midnight. It's like the rattlesnake's sitting there going, I'm waiting for Joey Daniel. Round 2 coming up. I'm hoping you don't have any of those guys on your team. So, a kid came up to me one time, he goes, hey coach, can you give me a ride home? I go, yeah, where do you live? Oh, my house. Oh dude, come on, where do you live? At home? Oh, never mind, get another ride. I had one kid say, hey, coach, my nose is constipated. Oh, that must hurt, get some X-Lax then. So, and then Mario here, you know, when we get people cleared, they have to fill out all these forms. And I went to him and I said, hey, Mario, I need an emergency contact number on your clearance form. He told me, 911. Oh, it's your mother, the dispatcher now or something? So, but
valid number.
That's about 3 things of 76 things that we've knocked off there. You got about 173 more. Caleb, I met Caleb when he was really little. Elias used to come to Santa Ana High School and do Fellowship of Christian Athlete meetings.